Alright, so now that you get the concept, or you see how the concept works, let's actually do this with some numbers. Alright, so let's make that angle 30 degrees, and let's say that the vector going down is 5 newtons. Alright, so we have our force 1 and force 2 at the top that are unknowns. Those are the things that we're going to solve for in this example. So what is F1 and what is F2? Okay, well, the reason we did that trick is because we know that those two forces are the opposite of the components here. So let's call that, in general, that vector in the bottom F3, so that we can give names to the other components. So we'll call that one F3y, so that's the y component of F3, and let's call that one F3x, so the x component of F3. Those components are equal and opposite of F1 and F2. So F3y is equal to F2, and F3x is equal to F1. So I'm going to write those algebraically. So whatever that force is equal to that one. So F2 is equal to F3y. Then F1 is equal to F3x. Okay, so now we have those equations written down. We can actually try to solve for those. So let's solve for F1 first. Okay, well, if we look at our equation at the top, so right here, F1 equals F3x. So it equals this component. So if we can calculate that component, then we can calculate F1, because it's the same thing. So what is F1? All right, well, we can use trig to find F3x, and we're going to use the sine. So the sine of 30 degrees is equal to that component divided by 5. Rewriting it, F3x, solving it for F3x, is equal to 5 times the sine of 30, which is 2.5 newtons. If you don't believe me, you can plug that into your calculator. So if F3x is equal to 2.5 newtons, then that means F1, the force that we're trying to find, is also 2.5 newtons. Same idea to find F2, but we just have to use a different trig function. So we're going to use the cosine. So the cosine is F3y over 5, and then solving it for F3y is simply this, 5 times the cosine of 30. If you calculate that out, you'll get 4.3. So 4.3 newtons is also equal to force 2. Alright, so there's an example with numbers. If you, I know I did this kind of quickly, so if you want to write these down and kind of follow along, then rewind the video and kind of pause it as I'm doing my calculations. But if you were just listening and you get it, then that is great. We will see you tomorrow.